And turning to the economy, federal regulators holding an auction for regional bank First Republic as the San Francisco-based financial institution remains underwater. Federal regulators are now holding an auction for the ailing bank, with heavyweights JP Morgan Chase and PNC Financial reportedly in the running with bids. Here with us now to help break down what this means for the nation overall is NewsNation business contributor Lydia Moynihan. Lydia, great to have you. So for those of us without money in this bank, can you break down the bigger picture for us, and what's the significance and the impact to everyday Americans here?
Yeah, Kelly, well, it's pretty wild because this would be, if it falters and fails, this would be the third bank in just 2 months that would go under and be taken over by federal receivership. So this bank had been in trouble when we were looking at Silicon Valley Bank and some of the other more dramatic bank failures just last month, but it got a $30 billion infusion from JP Morgan. Things were looking good. It looked like it was all going to be okay. Then last week, First Republic reported their earnings and revealed that depositors had removed $100 billion from the bank. That sent investors into a tizzy, and we look at their stock fall dramatically over the past week. The government has stepped in, and as you mentioned, the FDIC is holding an auction to see if we want to get another bank like a JP Morgan or a PNC to come over and take it over. So we're hoping that even in the next few hours, but certainly before the markets open tomorrow, that we'll get some sense of what is going to happen, because we do not want this stock to open and have no understanding of what's going to be happening next. So the thinking is that the FDIC is going to take this bank into receivership, much like it did with SVB. They would be in control of it, and then potentially you'd have another buyer come in and take over some of the assets. But we just don't know at this point what's going to happen, but we do expect some sort of news, some announcement about the future of this bank in just a few hours.
Okay, excellent. So I think you alluded to it here, but why such an aggressive timeline? We're talking about a push to get this deal done this weekend.
Yeah, well, so the stock's going to open tomorrow at 9:30, and not only investors who own that stock, but also people who are depositors who have their money in their bank, they want some sort of clarity about what's going to happen. And there's still a lot of questions. We know, obviously, how the government's handled the last 2 bank failures. But we don't know what exactly is going to happen. The FDIC provides insurance deposits for up to $250,000 if you have that money in the bank. But beyond that, the FDIC does not insure deposits. So people with more than $250,000 in the bank obviously want clarity about what's going to happen. The thinking among a lot of people in that world is that the government will insure additional deposits. But right now you have a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of uncertainty, and people just want clarity as to what's going to happen. And of course, in all of this, it's not just about First Republic. It's about sort of the precedent that it sets. And anytime you have a bank failure, of course, it raises the question of, does this mean there's systemic risk? Could we have other banks fail? And that's why how the government handles this is so important, because it's not just about people who have money there. It's about the entire financial ecosystem and what kind of implications this could have for other depositors and other investors.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. That's the fear. Lydia Moynihan, thank you, as always, for joining us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.